born and bred here, we actually went through the same thing as well, in the sense of your name is not one syllable or two syllables. You know, fasting, some people come up to you and they ask you, why are you fasting, why are you starving yourself? It's not by force, you know, something like that. And let's say Eid celebrations when you're wearing a kanzu, you're wearing, like, you know, the formal gowns that you would wear, they ask you why you're wearing them dresses. So I feel like it's not even just a case of coming from somewhere else to here. Even for Muslims, anyway, I'm speaking for, growing up, I think it's always important to kind of instill that knowledge of why you're practicing what you're practicing, why you wear what you wear, and have them also learn to love it, which is what we saw with the third generation of employers. Like, they felt blessed to cover up, whereas with us it was like, by force, you know, I have to. So I find like I was relating to that more, especially to the older second generation.
I think, yeah, mostly it's the education. It's the education. You always have to keep on educating, and for the parents, you always have to keep having that discussion. It's not just a matter of do this or do that. You need to tell, even if it's just getting your citizenship or red passport, tell them what you went through, because a lot of them don't appreciate it. And it's through you telling them, that's where they'll know where you're coming from, through them knowing the struggles. I think it's is it Chinua Achebe that said once that if lions haven't got historians, only the bravery of the hunters will be recorded. So people will not appreciate that the lions actually fought back. And it's to you, the parents, to teach your kids what you went through. I'll move on to you, Mr. Chapter. Thank you.
Thank you so much. These videos have been very, very, very educative. And just to be quick, the second generation of Mr. Palmer said one of the things that they found difficult is humbleness. I would like to say you have to distinguish between aggression and being able to show, I don't know what they call it, but you need to distinguish. You can be humble, but also being able to put your foot down. I see some of my children here. Baker is a very humble man, but you cannot push him because he will tell you what he feels. I know Eddie as well. These are children I started with when I came here. They are very humble children, but you cannot push them. So it's a matter of understanding where your humbleness comes in and where you are putting your foot down comes in. So when they say, like I've been asking my daughters, what type of man would you like to get married to? They say anybody at Uganda. And when I ask them why, oh, they are laid back, they are very humble. So I had to educate them what humbleness means. Being humble is a way you live your life so that other people can understand that you are not pushing your way to achieve something else. And that's what makes us different from the Nigerians. If they are not humble, not because they cannot be humble, but they know if you push, you will get what you want. And those are the differences between the humbleness and aggression. So if you want to be aggressive, then you are not, even God doesn't like aggressive people, you know. So I like them to understand that you can be humble, but still bold enough not to be pushed, whether it is at work, at school, and then you can be able to make sure those who are listening to you understand that you are not a pusher, but through humbleness.
Just so you can understand why I went to Mr. Chazekwa last. So yeah, you can be humble but still be assertive. That's the thing. It's but a lot of cultures have a different way of going about this. And yes, we know. I think a lot of us when we work in the corporate world, we can see a lot of let's say a lot of our white colleagues. They're not as aggressive, but they're assertive. And I guess the language also helps them. And the thing is, we also have to be, we have to stand to be counted. Not necessarily be aggressive, but be assertive, while you can also be humble. And on that note, I'll move on to Mrs. Lydia's video. I'm sure I'm spot on with the program. Is that right? Thank you very much. Yeah, next video.
Thank you so much for being here with us. Could you please give us an introduction about yourself, your name, and a bit of your background?
Well, my name is Lydia Tetolex, and I'm from Kenya. I love Central Kenya. And I'm a single mom by choice with 3 beautiful girls. And when I say their ages, people will go, really? But I started that. I wouldn't want my children to do that. You know what I'm saying? You don't want my children to do what we did. So I've got my first daughter who's 23, and then she's going to be 24 in November. And then I have my 18-year-old, just turned 18. And then I have my 15-year-old, and they're all girls. They're all grown.
Were they all born here?
Yes.
Which leads me on to my next question. Where was you born?
I was born in Kenya. I'm a typical Kenya.
Okay, we love to hear it. So when did you come over to England?
I've been here for, I think, just slightly more over 26 years now. Yeah.
And what was the decision to come over to England?
Well, I'm a performing artist.
Oh, okay.
I'm a dancer, or was a dancer, and now because I'm a little bit older, the energy is going, for my daughter to do that. And my big daughter, she's a great cricketer, so she does exactly that. But I remember I used to dance in Ben mushrooms, and we went to Switzerland first, and then we came to the UK.
Yeah.
And when I came to the UK, I was like, I'm coming back. I was. And when I went back to Kenya, I started making arrangements to come back to the UK. And we've been to so many countries with the mushrooms, but this was where my heart just felt like this is second home. Because of course, home is Kenya first. And those days there was no visa, it was so easy. You just pack your bags and
you're here.
that's what I did.
Oh, no, I love to hear it. And I can see that you're doing very well for yourself and I'm happy for you and your family.
Thank you.
So I wanted to touch on a bit about Back Home Festival. So what was it like growing up for you back home? Like, what was it like in terms of family and upbringing? Can you tell us a bit about that?
That was tough. Like I always say that my parents, they didn't give us the best, but because that's what they knew. Because I always say that you can only give what you have. So if they didn't have the love from their parents, they don't have anything to give us. You understand? So I don't blame them. My mom never said I love you, or my dad, or hugs. Always beatings upon beatings. If you do anything, there's no talking. Like now, you can even sit with your children and talk to them. Maybe give them 1, 2, 3. If they don't listen, they don't hot slap. But with us, there was no talk. Hot slap. Every minute, hot slap. Somebody breaks something, everybody gets beaten. Somebody does a mistake, everybody gets. How did I break the glass? Going up loud. It was just beating. You fail in school, beating. So if every single person in the class is number 1, you'll be number last. Seriously. And if you take that number last, oh my God, now you're going to come. So for me, growing up, it was knowing what I know now. It was horrible. But at that time, it wasn't. Because that's all I knew. It was normal. And later now, probably coming here and seeing things, I feel like there's so much that happened that I would not want my children to go through that. And that's why, even when I had my children, probably will tell you that later, I said they will never fight physically. That is something that I say from when every single one of them was born. Because in my family there was fighting physically, and I know it's a lot of families do that. Some people then see like it's normal, but to me that is not normal. Because your sisters and brothers, why should you fight physically? And my dad, totally misplaced his priorities. He had a very good job, his priorities misplaced. And again, I'm not blaming him because that's what he knew. And my mom as well, she was a very hard worker. She is, not she was, she is, she's still alive. She's a very hard working woman. She did a lot for us. But even her, all she knew was tough discipline, tough love. I don't think it was a love. I think those days Africans just have children for and then you just leave them without direction. You know, and it was just leaving you there to fetch for yourself. We used to look after our brother because my mom had to go and work, my dad had to go and work. So it was, I think it was a very tough upbringing that I didn't really like doing that.
Did you ever have a conversation with them as you got older in terms of because I can imagine having left the country and then going back, let's say for holidays and visiting, that you're now an adult now, you can have these conversations with them. So did you ever sit down and say like, you know what, actually the way you raised us wasn't actually right, and did you have that kind of conversation?
I've never had that with my dad because my dad is in Kenya and he's not really well. But with my mom, yes, because my mom lives in America. So I now told my mom, really, how did you stay in that marriage? Because my dad was a very abusive husband and dad. We grew up in a very domestic violent environment because my dad was really bad. One day he beat my mom and told my mom's teeth were hanging up. So my mom had to run to the neighbor, put it back with the spoon. But again, I can't say I don't blame my dad because every time you have a choice, so but now it's we're done. Now we're laughing, we forgave him everything, we're grown ups. I really sometimes feel sorry for him because like I know if he knew better, he would have done better, but he didn't know. So I haven't had this conversation with my dad, but with my mom, yes I did. And she was like, yeah, I'm sorry, she actually apologized and said she didn't know any better. Because I told her, mom, do you know if we were born in the white man, they would have taken us no time. You'd be in the hospital having your baby popping. They take the baby. Why did you stay? And she didn't even have a reason because she said in Kenya at that time, you go home, your mom sends you back to your husband. You go home to your mom sends you back. But she said, I stayed, where are you going? I stayed, where are you going? So it was difficult.
Touching on something that you said during the answer there, was that you said your mom apologized.
Yes.
That is very big, especially in African culture. These aren't normal things that happen. So is that also something that you've instilled in your own family?
I think my mom probably apologized because she's in a different continent as well now. And she sees things differently. Yeah, she's had the exposure, she's seen how children have been brought up there, she's seen different things that if she was in Kenya, I don't think she would have. She would have just said, okay. You know, I don't think she would have apologized. Probably yes, probably no. But I'm thinking for more percentage, she would have just not apologized. Because I've not even had this conversation with my dad. Even though my dad feels bad about it, because I know he was having a talk with my brother, don't have one brother, but the other one has one, so there's no happy thing. And he was telling my brother, don't do the things right, because I didn't regret so much what I did. I love my wife differently, I love my family differently, but I failed and don't fail the family. So I think even him, he has regrets now. I haven't followed his footsteps.
So having being raised like that, how did you also want to raise your kids?
Totally opposite. Oh my God, totally opposite. I say, my children will never lack darkness. My brother, my children will never lack financially and also my presence. So because of what I do with an artist, everywhere I used to go, I would take my children with me. And because I trained them so well, I'll say sit down and they'll sit down. I'll say if you make noise, next time I'm going, you don't want to go with me. Okay? So they'll go everywhere I go with my children, they learn my skills, everything I do, like drumming, dancing, doing arts and crafts, tie-dye. All my children, they can actually run this practice themselves because maybe I went to work with. And then it reached a time where even their performances, every time the children perform, I went there. There's only one time that my daughter, in fact, at that time when she was in uni, and they performed and became second, or they didn't win, they should like, oh mom, we didn't win because we didn't. Because since she was in nursery,
It's okay. All right. Okay. Thank you. That's okay. No, that's all right. And well done. Well done. Say hello. Thank
I
you.
said, I don't care. My daughter comes first, and I'm going to her performance. So every performance I've been there, everything my children are doing, I make sure I'm there because the way I brought up and the way I also saw children in this country, they miss out so much from their parents because the parents want to make ends meet. They want to buy an aeroplane, they want to please people in Africa, they want to bypass priority my children. So if I have brothers and sisters and my mom and my dad, even though I love them so much, and if it means that my children have to miss out because I have to please them, I'd rather not please them. It's not worth it. Even if it's my mom or my dad, it's not worth it. My priority is my children first. They are my first family. So I make sure, well, first of all, I used to say I want children. Even people who know how to know that, no, we have to see the children. Because when I was young, I was like, I swore I would never have children.
Was that because of your experiences?
Yes, that's because of my experience, where I was brought up. I used to see the way children would suffer, their parents would leave them, they'll be looking after their younger children. And I was like, I don't want my children to go through this because I didn't think that I would be in Europe. So I was like, I'll never have children. And you know why? Because I said I'll never have children, God actually denied me children. And you know what he gave me? He gave me angels.
Oh no, I love that. That's
He gave me
amazing.
angels. Because I really did need children.
No, I absolutely love that. That's amazing to hear, and I can tell that the love for your kids is literally resonating in this room and it's oozing out of you. So one question, especially about the topics that we're covering, is mental health.
Yeah.
Do you feel like, let me first go towards you, was this something that was ever either discussed or something that you thought of growing up? And also the second question would be, is that a conversation that is raised between you and your kids?
Growing up, you're called a mad person on the streets. There's nothing like mental illness, especially in Africa. It's only now that things like that are coming out, mental illness, but it's still not really discussed. You have to be running in the streets naked for you to be mad. So things like mental illness, because they are not discussed, you can be going through it and don't even know. Okay? At least now they're trying to talk about it, but still a lot needs to be done. Creating awareness that mindfulness in Africa needs to be done. So when I was growing up, nothing like that was discussed. I didn't even know what mental illness is. Because I won't lie. But here, I talk a lot with my children about, even because they have, all of them have friends, probably, they know people who commit suicide. And the first time that my daughter, I think my daughter was she was in secondary school, and one girl was joined the secondary school, she was bullied in one school, she joined that school. And this committed suicide, that was the first time this girl she goes to a school. And then we've seen a lot, even last year, he's Kenyan, and the mom's my friend, the boy also committed suicide. So there's a lot of mental illness and I talk to children a lot about mental illness.
Wow, that's shocking, and it's good to hear that you're one of the parents that teach the kids, because these things are definitely very important. Another question I wanted to raise was, because I'm assuming you came to the UK alone?
Yeah.
Was there any pressure when you migrated to the UK?
Pressure, or stress, or depression, or all of them. I was also an I mean, it was really hard because you come to this country, because the thing is, the perception we have from the Africa, or the white man, like, because when I came here first with mushrooms.
At what age? So just to give a perspective.
If I tell you what age, you calculate, and then you find out how old I am. I'm not going to give my age away. All I'm saying is I've been here for a little bit. I'm not saying how old I was, so then you calculate Okay, so when I came, I was really young. And because I came to the mountains first, and then because I just came into work, because I came to dance, because at that time I was just a dancer, and then I thought, the money they gave us, I think it was really good money at that time. So all these pounds, and then going to pay Nigerian shillings and rich, back to that country. So when I came back, things just being naive, and then things just very silly. I went back to them to perform, like I went to the address now. So I went back and they're like, this is oh, a lot of people have this, so we don't even know who you are. Hey, so what would I do? You know. So I started as a chambermaid, working in the hotels. And chambermaid was hard. It was the hardest job. And because you don't want people in Africa or in Kenya to think that I'm just working in a hotel, I'm a maid in the hotel. I used to get my case and because their dad was in Kenya, then Kenya, was still in Kenya. Everybody says cleaning. They say to me like, this is my face.
Oh my God.
I think they clean it up. Yeah, it was one of the things that they were really doing well. And now, that is the mistake we're doing because we're giving people in Africa this idea of what we're doing. And that's why they always forever asking for money, forever asking and asking. Because we live in a different life. We're not living so maybe not. So when I came, really hard, and then because I came to Guru, I just knew was university for me. So I was and want to Nelly, because it was just watched you on the one who breakthrough was a miracle. There is a time when I was pregnant with my firstborn, and I've never said this, especially in Canada, and that's older though. I used to actually eat from the bean. It was that bad. I used to eat from the bean. And then I went to the hospital, they were like, yeah, because they know they mentioned everything. They're like, your child is so small, you have cesarean, and they died. Bless him, we're not together anymore now. But he was very old at that time. It's like, he was crying because it was like, he's failing, he doesn't know what to do. At that time, he doesn't have papers to work. I don't have, I'm pregnant, so nobody can hire me. So we really struggled. I really struggled with my passport, especially when I was pregnant. I was actually getting food for me. Because you know when you go to the fruit where the people sell fruits, when they finish the evening, they dump the fruits. We'll take those fruits because they're not bad. They just do that because it's in the evening, maybe something came and squashed them. They dump, we take them, and then the house we were living in subletted rooms because we were just living in rooms. The guy, and I think God just placed me there. He used to work in the bakery, so we come back with a lot of bread and we would eat them and put them in the bin in the bags. We were picking them up from the bin, you know. So it was really survival. But back home, they're still asking for money. Every day, they still want money. So things like that can push you to depression. And that's why you see there's a lot of suicide rates going up in the diaspora. Because that will push you, because you're thinking, I can't tell you what I'm going through. I am struggling, and every day is send us money. You don't want to send it. People are abusing you right now. Your own family is putting so much pressure on you. Some people who can't take it, they just say, no, I'm just better off not being here.
So then what got you through?
One day, I sometimes would go to a club. Yeah, sometimes we go to a club. And then one day, because I love to think, even now I love to think. I'll dance with my heels until morning. I can't walk. It's silly. Very silly. But I don't drink. I'll still dance for him. So we went to dance one day. We went to a club one day. And then there was this group of people performing. Like sometimes perform with data sometimes on stage. So when we were performing, and then I saw this guy dancing. I went on stage as well. And my friends were like, oh, I don't know, like, hey, me. Hey, you know, I was a dancer from Kenya. So I went on stage, and every move they were doing was good. Because I'm a dancer, so it's easy for me to pick steps. So when we finished, this guy came to me and said, oh, you were very good. They said, yeah, because I'm a dancer as well. And then he said, where do you dance? I said, no, I don't dance anywhere. I'm a chambermaid. But I was a dancer. And then he said, okay, I'll give you contacts, and phone these people. So I called them, and they called me for an audition. I danced. There were so many people sitting down watching me. I was like, I just want to say there's nobody here, just me. So I danced, and they took me. The company was called Ajido, an African dance ensemble. And they put had been there for almost 25 years. It's not there anymore, but it was there for a long time. Until Muzungu now wanted to come and interfere. It was closed. And that was our Arab thing, it was an African thing.
Yeah.
So they came, they say, we want you to march in ballet, we want you to, and the director was like, no, this is a pure African thing. They were like, okay, we're not going to fund you anymore, because we were being funded by the African side. So they stopped funding them. They closed it down. But it was there for only 25 years, because I danced with them for 10 years. For 10 years, all I did was dance. So that's where my brain concept came out, because now when you're dancing,
meeting people, networking. So then, it sounded also like from the answer that you have a very relationship with kids at course. Do you communicate all these things that you do in life with them?
Yes, they know a lot. And the good thing is, I teach my children, even though they were born in this country. If you ask them where you're from, they'll tell you they're Kenyans. Because my house is when you enter this house, it's a Kenyan house. You go there, it's Queen's house. It's Queensland, but here
it's
Kenya.
Yeah.
So my children know they're Kenyan.
Yeah.
Never say they're British.
No, that's amazing to hear.
And we talk a lot.
So then, do you think that they would come to you if they had any issues and this, that, and the other as well? Because being that they're young, there's always that parent and child kind of differences. So do you think that if they were going through something that they would come to you?
100%. But again, you know, there's some things that people always feel like, I want to keep this.
Yeah.
I don't want my mom to react. I don't want, or I don't want my mom to go in, because every time they tell me something, I really overreact. So they tell you that. We're not saying that again. We're not saying it again. So, because if they tell me something like a friend did something to them, immediately the friend enters my house. They will know. They will know that aunt is different. Or I'll ask them, and they say, Mommy, we didn't ask you to ask them. I'm not telling you again. But I think like if they're going through something like deep, they'll come to me. Now my daughter, my first daughter, even when she goes out, and then somebody upsets her, she's gone out, whether clubbing or anything, she'll call me and I'll drive and go and pick her up. I don't care what time it is. Yeah, I'll drive and go and pick her up, or I'll order an Uber for her, she'll come back. And so if my children are going through something, they will come to me. But if it's not really deep, something that they can solve with their friends, probably they'll do themselves. But if it's something deep, they will come to me.
No, that's beautiful to hear. So I guess my next and final question before we get into the next is, how well do you think you know your kids?
Again, I wouldn't say 100%. Because you only know,
and that was 12 years ago, not that long ago. And we now have majority control. 27 out of the 37 councillors in Watford are Lib Dems, no Tories. And the way I think we achieved that was, you're absolutely right, Anton. You need
the kids
somebody who looks like the community. And when I got elected, I became that person for Watford. And that enabled me to entice more ethnic minority support to the party. And I believe we wouldn't have got as far as we had had we not had the ethnic minority support. About 30%, 33% of the Watford population.
Thanks for that. Another round. Anyone volunteering to comment on the video before I go into my notes? Anyone? It was quite some very, very interesting. Not to go? No, definitely there was. There was definitely some good pointers, some things that maybe are very taboo for you. I would like to know from, because one of the brothers made this comment, the lady that we saw, Lydia, she said she would.
Okay, that's okay.
Find somebody to video.
Anyone here, how do you guys feel about that? Can anyone actually make a point?
It's
I think by choice it's hello. In the sense that you shouldn't be in a tumultuous relationship or unhappy, or if you feel like your mental state is it's at ease. So I just feel like sometimes as women we stay in relationships just to either cater to our children, make sure that everything's fine and everything like that, but for yourself you're like literally breaking down and you're like wearing away. And sometimes you lose your identity, so it's like, for her, she said by choice, because she felt like she tried.
Sorry everyone, I'm actually in a conference, so I had to dash outside, but it's absolutely amazing and just listening to you quietly. Well done to all the speakers. I'm listening quietly, so as you can see, I'm in a double jeopardy, but I just try. Thank you so much to London Conference for also suggesting that we could come in and just have a social event. So it's good to see some of you, and hopefully next year it can be supported more. And I know that many of you are here because you just want to have a social event, but for those people who haven't for those people who are joining in here today, I hope you've also seen that there's a vice president's post that is going in. Please aim to nominate people. So I request all of you to aim to nominate, and especially the ethnic minorities, so that we are able to promote inclusion in our party. And as the diversity and inclusion person, I just want to encourage all of you to make sure at least you've nominated somebody, so that we are able to have better representation and improve our party. So with those few remarks, Marisha, I just want to thank you as well for taking the opportunity to just create this social event. She's doing it as a social event just after conference, and it is separated from London Regional Executive, but as something that we just help all our members to do what they really enjoy most. So on behalf of London Regional Executive, being the diversity officer, and it's great to see all Councillor Rabi, Councillor William Hopo over there, great to see Councillor Anton as well, and I was listening to all of you, and of course our young person as well, April as well. Absolutely wonderful to see this young man growing up. Let's support our youth to have talents. Let's be able to support cultural awareness. As you can see, I'm in a Black History Month, and I'm still trying to do two things at the same time. Until then, it's a goodbye from me. So thank you, Councillor William, for being there and supporting the presence of also the London Regional Executive. I'm just here. I was part of the London Regional Conference Subcommittee. And I can just say the two separate events are separated, but I know that Gareth Sheldon was quite keen to promote social events. So thank you, Marisha. Thank you to every member who has stand up. Enjoy conference, enjoy your week. And today was all about building London, building 2022. And please, everyone, let's build London. And I've really tried to just join you at a short notice, as you can see, and I'm trying to really promote inclusion. So I'm right down here. So goodbye and thank you. Thank you, Marisha, for asking me to speak as well.
Julia is also London Regional Diversity Officer, and I'd like to thank her for all the hard work that she's doing
Thank
I
you.
think that probably what was done with the plans because I'm
I'm just gonna go back in, so don't worry because they've just called me. See you later, everyone. Enjoy conference. Bye.
I'm really concerned that you're going to the Monday and you will be trying to find
If the dad was abusive and the man wasn't good for her, that doesn't mean that mentally. So I think maybe she links her up into the dad, to the man, all that plays a key. But that it doesn't make it a choice. It makes it circumstances. Like things happen, but the only way to change, maybe there was this other thing, that's what they sometimes say, you can get another man. You know, a better man to look after the kids. You can't say because it was by choice, you're not gonna have another life with another man. Someone who can look up. Because your kids have to look up to a man to say the dad can be there. You know, you have to, I think you have to lead by example. That's what I think.
So basically, a paternal figure in the kid's family is very important. But yeah, let's move on to the next contributor.
Hello, thank you everybody. That was very interesting to say that she chose to be a single mom by choice, and I agree with whatever others have said. But from my understanding, the lady might have come in around 1990s, I guess. There could have been an economic for being a single mom. Being a single mom in those times paid more than being a partner, than being with the husband. So that is something that we can't put aside.
Thank you very much. I guess you can hear. These stories are so true. We've had situations where people choose to be single parents or whatever just because of circumstances, be it financial or other things. So thank you very much. We'll go to our last contributor on the topic, and while we listen to our last contributor, please, our panelists, get ready, because we'll switch on to the panelists straight after this.
Thank you. First of all, I would like to appreciate courage to come out with the story, obviously. Like I echo somebody said, sharing is good because we learn. But let's not forget, she was an artist. She used to travel different, she was talking about artists. Who is that man there going to stand up, you go this way, go that way. So that could have been a choice she made because of her job. So, and in any case, we cannot really, because she's not given the whole scenario, but from my own view, because she's been an artist, she's been traveling, probably that she may have, she may have chosen, this is my career, I cannot stop the career because of the man. So that could have been one of the choices she made because of her progression career.
Thank you very much. I was once told to be wary of career women, but hey. So I guess it is interesting when you listen to such things, is people choose to do certain things, but also it is a trade-off when we're looking at how people react to certain situations. So she traded off being in a relationship, but she might also have traded off her kids having a maternal figure or something, which is okay, but it can only be okay if we the kids, because a lot of kids have been raised by single mothers and they're very outstanding and they're doing great things, so we need to applaud them. I guess, yeah, a round of applause for the single mothers, for the mothers. There is a lot of mothers playing both daddy and mom, and there is also a lot of fathers that are actually doing the same thing, so we need to acknowledge that. And from the video as well, what I picked up is yeah, that's me, sorry. I guess I have to take everything here, but yeah, what we have to also think about, a lot of kids, and I've had this in our generation, when you're telling your parents that they did not do enough for you, you invite them to sit down with them and understand the struggles they have, understand where they came from. Because like she said in the video, my dad could not give me what she did not have. A lot of these traumas still come on when you look at them and say, oh, your father didn't do this, your mother didn't do this. A lot of times it's because she did not have that. How do you give what you do not have? And most times it's us, the generation, and a lot of times when we look at these situations with culture and family breaking and cultures, we always put them onto the parents, but forget that we have a role to play as the kids, and at this generation, 20, 30 and going on, you have so much to play to bring everything together. You have so much to play to make sure that both the younger generation and the older generation are in sync. And it starts with understanding your culture. It starts with understanding where you come from. Thank you very much. So our panelists, please, if you can start making your way. We're going to move on to our panelists. And I guess I'm not in the capacity to be running the panel. I think it's best for the president to come and run the panel. Mr. Chazé making his way, thank you very much. I'll leave the president to introduce the panelists. So you can take out all the seats here. They haven't been warmed up for you, but they've definitely been waiting for you. And as the panel gets together, if anyone has anything to add, culture-wise, please do put your hand up. And when we talk of culture, when we talk of culture, a lot of times we speak of our culture as Ugandans or Africans, but our culture is so linked to other things as one, the culture here in the UK, and then also we have religion. And a lot of times our religion and culture as Africans is not in sync, and these are a lot of the pressures that make us forget, one, where we come from, and like they say, if you don't know where you're coming from, you cannot know where you're going. So you need to stay strong and stay invested into your roots. And by knowing your culture or knowing your parents, knowing where you came from, that's the only way you can have stronger roots, and that's the only way you can basically stand up. Mr. Chris, VIP. Nice to have you. So yeah, we'll move it on to the president to head the panel. Unfortunately, we have one mic, so we're just going to be moving it along. Thank you.
Hello, how's everyone doing? I swear they've just given you food. You don't sound like you have energy. Are you bored? How's everyone doing? Do you want me to speak Luganda or Swahili? Swahili, yeah? Habari gani? All right then. Thank you very much for turning out today. So I'm not going to waste no more time because we're running late already, but hopefully you'll be able to hear us. Hopefully the mic is going to do us justice, but we have one and we're going to be sharing it. But I'm going to start by introducing, actually I'm not going to introduce, I'm going to let them actually introduce themselves because I might not do them justice. These are very powerful people within our community. They're doing a lot in terms of empowering and developing our community, and it's about time people here started learning from people that are doing good. There are people willing to dedicate their time. Time is very important, you know. Yes, they say black people time, but time is very, very important. So if these people are giving up their time to help our young generation, I think it's about time we get to hear them more often, and hopefully we'll be able to learn a thing or two from them. So I'm going to start from here, and they're going to introduce themselves, and then I'll be asking them some questions to try and get them talking, because if I tell them to speak, they're so passionate about what they do, they will not stop, you know. So I'll start from here.
For the audience inside, they call me Chris. I build cloud for billion-dollar companies from scratch. I have a startup which I run from my office, which was funded by a billion-dollar company, and I show people how to do the same thing. I'm nothing special. I just follow the system, and from that system, I'm able to sell my software for 100 grand a pop to billion-dollar companies, and I will show people who come to the office how to do that for free. So, yeah, I can't wait to meet all of you.
nga bw'atandise mu Luganda ndowooza nange kanjogereko mu Luganda ate tuli ku culture differences kati Amanya gange bampita Aisha, Aisha Nabunya Masimbi. Masimbi, ntera okukozesa ku forum. Tuyina gye tuyita parent forum, eri ku 75 W radio. Era abasinga wano abamu ndowooza mugenda mugitegeera kati mwami Beka Kwali, mwami Kyaze. Ndi social work by profession. Nkola at the moment ntambudde wangi in terms of baani benkoze nabo, nkoze mu baana, nkoze mu young mothers. Kati sawa zino wenjogerera nkola ne ba adults abakadde over 65. Ndowooza byebyo Rebecca ajja kweyo nga bwe yagambye, ebirala ajja kuba atubuuza ebibuuzo.
Hello, okusooka njagala kubeebaza mwenna abasobodde okubeerawo. Thank you for coming to this forum, because these are things, when I first arrived in this country from Canada 20 years ago, I can see the fruits. Eddie made me to feel like crying. That video Eddie did was so touching beyond Eddie and his wife, some of the young people I started with, and of course Baker. So when I see what they are doing, I thank God, inshallah. These are the things I want you to continue doing, because that's how we are going to solve problems within our communities, within our societies, and within the African community at large. A PhD student at the University of West London, and I hope by next year April will be finished. But I don't want the title. Thank you so much. And I also work with another community organization called FAWA as a family support worker.
Good evening, everyone.
Good evening.
Good evening, everyone.
Good evening.
That's more like it. My name is Juliet Mahapila. I'm the African Wonder Woman. For those who have been watching 75 radio, is it a Radio Derby or Derby Radio? Derby Radio, yes, you have been seeing me, so here I'm with you in the Uganda Muslim community. Well done. Thank you so much, Baker, for inviting me here to be part of your panelists, and I'm glad to be joining all the panelists here today. I'm absolutely grateful for your love, for the community that you create. So just a quick intro about me. I'm a community transformer. I'm a social scientist. I wear many hats. And let me say I'm also a model for those who don't know. So I love inspiring young girls and youths, and I'm a judge. I love just wearing the hat. I'm also a politician for those who don't know. But I want to also leave you with the spirit of community development in this house. I'm a social impactor. That is why I'm here today, to allow your community to really get known for the love that it has got. Have I left something else, Baker? And I think I'll just leave you with, I'm also the lead diversity and inclusion champion within the Lead Teams. So back to my community work right now. I'm here wearing the heart of community as I speak to you right now. So thank you so much for inviting me here, and I'll be talking greatly about your community. Thank you. Oh yeah, I'm also a business person, so let me say that as well. Thank you.
Hello there, everyone. Thank you so much for allowing me to be here and to be one of the panelists here this evening. My name is Maureen. I am a IT project manager by profession. I've done a lot of work within the UK public sector, worked on a lot of accounts such as Ministry of Defence, Ministry of Justice, the NHS and the Home Office as well. I do a lot of community work here within the UK. Some of you might know, might not know, I am the founder of Acholi London on Instagram. Trying to keep it short. Baker, thank you so much for allowing me to be here. I'm really honored. I just enjoy being a part of these type of events, and I am always willing to participate in mentoring young, individuals who would like to start their career in IT or need just more information, surrounding the areas that I have worked in before. So thank you so much, everyone.
We have one more.
Hi everyone, my name is Ibrahim Sekaja, mostly known as Ibra Sekaja. I'll keep it very short and sweet. I'm a professional footballer, football coach and a player manager. I'm also a community activist, so I'm very honored to be part of this great panel, and I try to give back as best as I can to the community, so wherever I can help in my community, I'm always available as best as I can. So yeah, that's pretty much me in a nutshell. Thank you.
Well, I'm sure you've had their positions within our community, and literally they're dedicating their time for you guys here, for other people that are not here. So if anyone is listening, we do have people willing to help our people be better. So I'm going to start my first question with Mr. Chazé. Mr. Chazé used to take us to Center Parks when we were young, me and Eddie, Sarah, and so many other people, but it's not happening anymore. We are the ones trying to rejuvenate that, because they used to manage to mentor young people. We managed to literally stick together and get to know a bit about our lives back home, because we were networking with people from our community, people from our background. So we managed to sustain our identity, and that's something that helped us. Why do you think the community is not, like for example here, right now, if we were talking about Lumbuye, if we were talking about politics back home, if we were talking about something to do with back home, this room literally would be packed and there would be people outside waiting to turn up there. But then we have kids dying from a very young age. You find a 15-year-old, they've got a criminal record. You find so many young people suffering. By the way, to lose a young person, they don't have to die. We have so many young people walking, but literally lost. So why do you think it's gone downhill from the thing you started?
Thank you, Baker, and thank you for the work you do and those that you work with. When I arrived in this country in 2000, I didn't know why I was here, but all I know, I had just separated from my wife. I just wanted to go as far away from her as possible. And I gave myself 9 months because I had been given money by my former boss to do some research. But when I arrived in that small town, Mission, I opened a can of worms. I saw young people helpless with no one to help them. Parents spending 15 years with no papers, and they didn't know how they're going to go ahead with bringing in their children. It was good to talk to the parents of these young people. They gave me some ideas, and we started a youth project. For me, it was lack of leadership. And today, it's still the same problem, even though we have gone a little bit ahead. After spending 1 year here, and I decided that I think I could stay here for another 3 years. Then those 3 years turned into 5, and now they've turned into 20 years. Few days, I went to Canada after 6 years, and it was a wedding of my daughter. And the wedding was so beautiful. My children put together a very beautiful wedding. But what touched me was my Ugandan community in Canada. They organized a barbecue for me. And one of the things one of the organizers said, Charles, you left 20 years ago. We haven't moved from where you left us. If you can come back, please, so that you can move on. That touched me, that if I hadn't left, maybe the community would have been even further. But I have no regrets to have come to the UK, because the people that I've worked with, from young to the old, in HIV, in COVID, and so many other projects, I've learned so much. Not only from people of my generation, but from the young people. And it is that conviction that I have that I want to share with you, that if we don't, you the younger generation, don't take this mantle from us, the older generation, we are stuck now. We are tired. We need this to continue, and I think it's you, the young people, to be able to do it. And you can do it, because what I see with so many young people, whether it is in the arts, whether it is in other professionals, you can do it. And with us as parents, you can be able to get the ideas, and other things. Otherwise, this situation we have will get stuck, and your sisters and brothers, your children you're going to have, will be caught into this catch-22. For me, as I'm an artist as well, I'm a playwright and an actor. 20 years ago, I wrote a play called The Song of Chibi. It was a double culture identity play, where this young princess, Chibi, was brought by her mother to the UK. And the mother refused to tell her her status until when she became 16, and they organized naming her a new name because she was becoming a woman. That occasion was, brought relatives from America, Canada, and Uganda. The problem was, Chibi had been given a ticket of Beyonce on the same day she was going to be given another name, to be a woman. She struggled with making that decision, to go to Beyonce or to be named, or a new name, to be a woman, and to be disclosed that she's a princess from the kingdom in Uganda. Her culture identity played a big role in deciding what to do. She decided that she was going to see Beyonce. And she doesn't care about the naming ceremony, the culture of being a princess. Those are African things. She's a British. But her friend, her best friend, as she went to look for her at a bus stop, explained to her that what you have, I don't have. She was from Jamaica. I wish I had what you have. That culture identity, I would be the happiest woman alive. The play ends as we see Chibi coming back home, and the whole family embraced her to become an African princess, a Muganda by tribe, and to embrace her culture as a so-called British Uganda. And these are the same problems young people go through, deciding who they are. And by deciding who you were, you make your life easier. For me, I've been a Canadian, I've been a British and a Ugandan. But I chose one nation to call my fatherland. And I chose one nation to be my motherland. Uganda is my motherland, and Canada is my fatherland. For one reason, they've given me what I have and what I can be able to do and contribute to my community. That is the only reason. Canada gave me not to forget my culture, because Canada practices multiculturalism, where a citizen is given money to learn about their culture and appreciate it, to teach languages, something we are unlucky here in Britain we don't have. So it is us in the community to take this into force, educate our children, make them love their culture, their background, to get to know who they are. And to you, the young fathers and mothers coming up, this is your role, to continue what your parents have given you and give it to your children with love, not because you have to, with love and respect for those who brought you to this nation, whether it is parents, friends, because they have given you to see what the rest of the world sees, but they can also give you a clue of where they have come from to be able to raise you in very difficult situations in this country. So I beg you, we need to work with people like Baker and the people you see here in the panel, people like Eddie, who have these experiences. We've seen Sheikh and his family sharing with us what they've gone through. That this teaches all of us, but we also need to share this with the rest of the people in our communities in order to expand what we need to do and what we have. Thank you so much.
Thank you very much, Mr. Chancellor. I'll move on to Aisha. So many parents say that it's a struggle bringing up young people, but to me, I feel like most parents don't know their rights. But I don't know what you think. Do you think parents know their rights, and what can they do to learn about their rights if they don't?
Thank you very much, Becca, for first of all for organizing this. It can be a challenge, and I echo you in terms of if other things are put outside there. If it was politics, people tend to attend to those things. If it's music, people tend to attend to those things. Maybe in future, we bring a singer first, and then we pull a crowd, because that's the way Ugandans are. I mean, you bring here, I don't know, any famous one, maybe we could get the funding to get that person first, and then because we miss out important things that touch our lives. You've asked me a question of rights and rights for the parents. I have to say, I studied here social work, and one of the papers that I did, the question was about writing about responsibilities, rights of a child and rights of responsibilities. I want to say to you, I don't know whether there is a social work here, and because I know you people are recording, I'll briefly switch it in my language. Olupapula olwo lwali nalu challenging ne mbagamba right zino si ntuufu kubanga zirina nkiyise mu Luganda bakiyita batya scratching ne culture eyange kubanga baali batugambe tuwandike personal values and the social work values. Olupapula nalugwa era ticha nateekawo lwaki nkoze ki naye ku lwange that was not right. Nga ndaba nti olupapula twalina okuwandika the excessive rights omwana zaaba nazo mwana ensi naye ekyo nga nkiguddeko anyway ekibuuzo nga nze ku kibuuzo tewali kintu kiyitibwa parents right. Buli omu oli muzadde oli mwana ffenna tulina right mu ngeri zaffe. Right kiki? Right ezimu wano mwene ensi balina amateeka gali under human rights. Human rights etuwa right to life, right to education, right to a good life, and any right can be equally proportionate to the child as well. So there is no such a thing as parents' right. Where those words come in, that parents' right, this is when you have to fight them in terms of who is, you've split, and then there is this point, I have a right to have contact to my child. I have a right to custody. Then you start battling out in court. What I should emphasize most is the duties, the responsibilities and the duties as a parent. I think if, as a parent, some of the duties we have, look after your child, give them what they have to be given, education, good health, don't neglect them, give them shelter, give them things that, as a parent, you brought up that child, what you are meant to give them, because you are the person who has brought that child in this world. So it is our responsibility and duty to keep whatever they call those rights, but they are not such a thing like rights. They will say it's rights, but they are responsibilities and duties. So for me, going back to the why sometimes they say it's rights, how are you bringing up your family? As a parent, I brought up my child here. What are my values? First of all, those I would consider as I have a right to instill values into my child. If I don't instill those values into my child, then I'm failing them. What are our cultural values? What are my religious values? What are the society values? And then I start balancing up. If I fail as a parent to do those duties, then I'm denying my children their rights. If I cannot look after them and I'm neglecting them, I'm denying that child the right of being in education, number one, the right of being with good health. Because in social services, I have to say, so many black minority children in foster care, they are in adoption. They are the ones going, we see so many proportionately, the percentage is high because we are not taking to the consideration of our responsibilities and our duties. This country will not bother you. The law will not bother you if you keep your responsibility, if you keep your duties. Social services will come in only where your duties and responsibilities have failed. And then when they come in and they failed, you've neglected them, you've left them when they're young, they've banned themselves, then that's when a child's right comes in. Because that's where the law then starts catching you up, because you've actually not given the right, service to that child. But provide what you need to provide for your child. Those rights can be balanced. You have your own child, your right as a mother or as a father, and that child has their own rights. But the rights are equally. We are talking of right to life, right to education, right to good health, of which we all have too. As we've just grown, but we are once children, and we have those rights. So if you deny your child those kind of rights, then that's where you're failing them. Then that's where social services or the government will come in, But sometimes parents don't know some of these things, or sometimes they are stuck with things like they're working, they're single parents, and they don't know how to juggle, and it is hard enough to juggle life here. When even if you're a couple, it is hard to juggle. You have a school run, you have they have to take them to school, you have to, sometimes GP, if they are babies, you have to take them for clinics. All those things are hard enough. So, but how do we balance it out? And if you, for example, you've left your child unattended to, that's where the law is likely to, to come to you. And then that's where it's going to be questioned. You're neglecting your child, you want to take the child away, then that's how that child, the social services are going to say, she has a right, and they'll battle you out because you've neglected them. There's so many people, so many children out there, and living happily without actually. It's the time to balance up the time, educate our children, but also in our own ways. I think we failed because the parenting skills, we fear in this country. We always constantly thinking, oh, if I discipline my child this way, they will think that I'm neglecting or I'm being really hard on them. You have the right to discipline your child, but to a degree. I'm not saying you have the right to discipline your child. They've done something, slap them every day, beat them every day. You can actually discipline your child without doing all those things. You can discipline them by denying them what they really need to want. You don't have to beat them, because often we get referrals, children have been beaten, physically bruised. How are we going to fight court with those kind of evidence? You can slap, but how are you slapping? How hard are you slapping that child? The government does not say that you're not going to discipline your child. You can't discipline them, but reasonably. You have to be reasonable. Sometimes they are very hard. They are very hard because damage. Because the fear starts to be working in terms of dialogue, and then you get better outcomes. I believe
let them pick it up themselves.
I don't believe in actually beating, slapping, or I know that it has to come from, but also the more harder, I've been hearing this, the more harder.
You have to come back when they finish. Ruby, she's got one.
Thank you very much. I'll move on to Juliet. Juliet is Kenyan and African Wonder Woman. That's what she prefers to be called. So many times we say that things and the system is not in our favor, should I say. But we find that we are not part of the system, and we try not to involve ourselves in the system. But obviously you're part of the Liberal Dems and you're involved in politics. So how can we get young people or even older people interested in being part of the decision making? And why is it that we don't have many of our people on the decision making table? And also, how can we promote cultural diversity?
Thank you so much, Baker. Could I have all the children sitting down and not running around? Because for this session, please, I would love us to really participate on this session, because it's what makes the difference between good governance and how we are deemed in this country. So out of respect, could all the parents please pick their children so that we can have a little bit of silence and we pay attention to civics education as I speak. Thank you so much, children, and thank you for a long day here. I also want to add I'm the founder of North London Kenyan Communities, as I heard the lady over here is from the Acholi. So I'm also the founder of UK Africa Diaspora Forum, which has been going on for many years, and I've got a very active Ugandan community as well that I have supported in the past. So my question to answer, Baker, is especially in terms of, I'm just going to take it because I'm not here for politics. I love community work and community development, and I trust that I would love to see all of you engaging in different political parties, and I would love the children who are here to take notes so that we are able to nurture our Africans and Caribbean children to be part of a system that is actually needing us most. And the great question is that Baker has asked, how can we bring our children to participate and also our families to participate in the local government issues? The first question I'm going to ask you, how many of you vote? Can you show me? Yeah? Oh, thank you so much. That's a big, lovely proportion. And I'm absolutely happy to see that within the Ugandan community. And I would love you to spread the word, because when you don't vote, what happens is we're not able to be part of that decision-making process of what we must be engaging on. I want to take you back to the history, and I'm glad Chisai mentioned something that is really touching here home today. He told us, if you remember, 20 years they're still waiting for him in Uganda. That was his exact words, if any of you was listening. So I'll put a challenge to all of you. 20 years of your lives, our parents allowed us to go and basically learn, also come back home, and also some of them even sold their land so that some of you could come here, be educated. And I also want to take you back to the history of United Kingdom and the issues of slavery and colonization and the set precedent of those who know scramble for Africa. Some of you know very well that these issues have followed us wherever we go around the world. That is why I'm a great passionate of knowing your identity. Because when you learn to know your identity, you are able to tell your stories. You are able to tell those stories in a beautiful way. You are able to nurture those stories and tell them to the children who are British born. So they are British Ugandan. And I want to celebrate these children here today, because you are the children for today. You are the children that actually represent all our families. And I believe in my heart that when you take pride, I was watching the screen here tonight, and one of the child was asked, what is the one thing that you would like to do? And I remember one of the child said, I would love to wear a shirt. And that strikes me because of inclusion and diversity. Many of these children are born in United Kingdom. And how do you help that child? You could perhaps adapt a long shot so that that child is able to be comfortable and is able to be included within the system. I want to be able to promote interfaith here today. Thank you so much, Baker, for the work that you do, because with the love that you've got with your community, we are able to bring civics education amongst all of you. But it is one thing talking about it, and another thing implementing about what we talk about. And I think the great challenge is implementing what we talk about. I want all the children. There's a young girl here today I was watching, not to mention names, but she was absolutely beautiful. And I couldn't believe that I saw her clean up, just making tea. And it made me remember my childhood memories. These days, children, I don't know about you, but this child demonstrates what the Africans and Caribbeans family expects of you. Little things that make us smile, little things that allow you to grow so that you're able to be nurtured responsibly. I want to finish off by saying today we take a very sad moment because yesterday we lost an MP who is conservative, and it sadly is very bad news. News coming out today, it is sadly, perhaps, let me not say, but it is a Somali person that went into a surgery and attacked the MP. That is what news is coming out here tonight. I want to remember, despite that I'm from a different political family, can I remember every single child and family, children, if you're listening here today, you can imagine taking a knife on the street. That must stop. If it's happening in your community, it must stop. We didn't grow up having knives and, guns in the street. Where do you get that from? Baker, Ibrahim, I've been with Ibrahim, and I know he sets a great example, especially for the youth. Can I celebrate the community halls of all of you that take part in enabling the Ugandan community to grow? Thank you so much to the Ugandan Muslim community. And I appreciate the community fund here today, because without the community fund, we are asking for them to inject more resourcing in our communities so that we are able to build a better world. With love, I'm going to leave you and say the spirit of Ubuntu, the spirit of connecting, the spirit of joy, the spirit of unity. And unity is one thing, community. When we are doing community events, many of us are not funded. When we call you, we expect you to turn up. Not because we are gaining from it, but because we want to set a standard in the community that will enable our community to get community awareness that we deserve. I leave you with that, and thanks for having me. And before Lydia, I saw Lydia. Lydia is a Kenyan, and thank you so much to Lydia Olet, because as well, you can see she gave a very good overview of one of your themes here today, which is growing rich, as the theme here today. Read it for me. Can someone read it for me? The theme there.
We are born rich.
We are born. Can I hear it?
Rich.
Sorry?
We're born rich.
That is it. Thank you so much. Thank you for celebrating Black History Month, and in spirit and in truth. We appreciate you. Thank you.
Thank you, African Wonder Woman. I'm going to move on to Mr. Chris here. Actually, I'm not going to ask him a question because I've been to his office. I want him to tell us about his office, because I had a question for him, but I think it's better if he actually tells us about his office, because I'll speak after his phone.
Try to make it quick. Notes. I made some notes while people were speaking. In the office, it's a place where people come, young people come who have dreams. We show you how to turn those dreams into a profitable career, whether you're shoe shining, whether you're footballers, whether you're making videos, whether you're making films, whether you're accountant, whether you want to talk about politics. Next week we've got someone who's making films in Uganda, they make Disney films. We've got somebody running political events from the US, with Obama's former campaign manager going to be the keynote speaker. We put on the events for free. We don't charge you anything.
We make you become the best version of yourself. Everything from the way you eat, the people you hang out with, the relationships you have. A lot of young people are losing their lives because they're spending all their time on Instagram. Again, parents, why do we have, someone spoke about parents. A lot of moms are on Instagram scrolling the whole day. They're on Facebook looking at the timeline, dreaming of other people's lives, dreaming of where they could be and where they should be, instead of putting time into themselves, into their craft, and making themselves better so that they can give their kids the best. Another thing is, parents who go out with their children. Children have a right to your time. If you're a parent, you have a responsibility to give your children time. So stop building big homes which are going to fall on you in Uganda and spending all your time trying to get these big mortgages or these big cars, these big fat whips. Either get rich or die trying. And so as a result, we have an epidemic of not single mothers, of parentless homes where mum and dad are doing 2-3 jobs and the children are coming home to a political vacuum and the streets are filling that vacuum. That's the reason. Knife crime, gang rape ain't nothing new. It was in my time, and there's the same epidemic then. Because parents were too busy out there making money trying to get big fat cribs. Instead of living in a small home, humbly, spending your time with your children, educating them, taking them to work, putting time in them, understanding, you know what, I have 3 Premiership football players in my family, but their parents spend 80% of their time outside of work, taking them to games, bringing them back from games, listening to them, talking to them, getting their diet right, talking to the coaches, looking for clubs. I'm a product of that. My mum was a lawyer. My dad was an accountant. I spent my whole life in the office, like either greeting people, taking people's papers, showing them how to fill out forms, and there's no mistake to me having my own office where I bring other people in to learn and to teach them. So number one thing we need to start doing is teaching each other. But before you can teach anyone anything, you need to learn a skill. Now, how do you learn a skill? Today you have Instagram, YouTube. All of you have smartphones. There's a website, and I swear this website is going to teach you how to do everything. Do you guys want to know what that website is? Well, you can learn everything. Anything, tell you anything you want. Yeah. Okay, get your pens ready. I want all you guys to get pens, yeah? Ready? Ready? It starts with Google. It's Google. You can ask it for anything you want and it will tell you everything that you need. So please, before you ask anybody, ask about Google. Another thing is, somebody said here, do you vote, politics, etc. Now, unfortunately, I don't vote, right? Because nobody represents me from the people who are there to select for. So instead, I've decided to partner with people who are like-minded like me to create our own ecosystem. Hence, I have a place in my office. By the way, that office, I don't pay for it. Somebody saw the skill that I have. I offered them a service. They pay me for that service. I use the money to then give the office to everybody for free. Now, I'm not nothing special. Somebody just showed me the system. By the way, there's only 1%. How much do you think, by the way, how much do you think you have to earn to be in the top 1% in the UK? Any number? How much do you have to earn to be in the top 1% in the UK? Does anybody know? Let me help you. It's 160,000. Now, 160,000 a year is what you have to, nothing much. Now, a lot of you are trying to aim for millions, whereas if you earned 100,000, you'd be very happy. When you come to the office, I will show you how to earn 100,000 very easily. I'm not nothing special. All these people you see earning millions of dollars, hundreds of thousands, they're following a system. They follow that system, you do it diligently, you will get your rewards. And you know what? You can have time for your kids, time for your family, time for everything that you want to do, time for the loved ones, and you can even give back to the community by just doing that. So, now, I also made some notes. I think the first thing we have to do is, if we want to become better, is we need to learn a skill, and we need to teach each other. Then we need to teach someone, and after you've taught someone, you need to visit back home. How many of you have been to Uganda? Okay, we've been in COVID, pre-COVID, 2019. Are you making more than 2 trips or 3 trips back home a month, a year? 2, 3 trips a year. You should be, because we're spending that money on other things. TV, my Ayalapa, wherever, young people, hi, I see your Instagram. Some of you, I see you on Instagram here. I see you in this city, that city, bikini, whatever, shirt off, all that. I'm thinking, dude, this guy could be in Uganda training people. We need to go home, train people. Then we need to attach ourselves to people, like these guys here, who are doing something for the community, who are bringing other people up. Then you need to find the right relationship. A lot of you are going to do nothing with your lives because you're going to be going, what can I say? You're going to be shacked up with the wrong guy or the wrong girl. A lot of guys are losing their dreams because they're with the wrong girl. A lot of women are losing their dreams because they're with the wrong guy. And instead of following the principles of life, of teaching, by the way, if the person you are going out with does not add to your purpose, does not add to the skill that you have, does not bring value to the skill that you have, does not uplift your people, does not uplift your family, does not uplift you, doesn't make you feel good about yourself, doesn't make you feel good about your culture, you should not be with that person. And I want you to go home, and you need to have a difficult conversation and tell that person, you know what, you are not adding to my value, to my life, we need to end this. If you need help, there's people here to help you here. But the number one reason a lot of you guys are going to lose your opportunity, and by the way, if you're in the West here, you have an opportunity, you have a right to go back and teach your people back home. A lot of you are going to do nothing with your life here because you're with the wrong person. So guys, the number one thing, your relationship, the person who you're with matters. It's a very, 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 very big point, and you need to make sure you don't ignore it. Then for the kids, hey kids, where you at? Kids, hello, 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 hello. Hey, how are you? Are you having fun? What did you do this week? I like your pink shoes. They are very nice. Yes? Now, what do you want to do when you're older?
I want to make a difference.
You want to make a difference? Do you hear that? Guys, come around the floor. Thank you so much for coming. We really appreciate you. We value your time. And do you know what? You're going to be great, and you're going to be one of the most amazing people in this world who goes out there and actually makes a difference and makes change. So I want you to say thank you for your mommy and your daddy to me for making you so smart. Okay? What's your name again?
Ruby.
Ruby, what a lovely name. Guys, a round of applause for Ruby. That's how we engage our young. We must engage them. It's not a thing to just have adults up here. We should have kids up here. We should have young people up here, not just people with grey hair. And for the getting people to our events, did we run any ads on Instagram? Did you run any ads on Facebook? Did we put any ads on billboards? Did we put any ads on the bus? Guys, we must be better at marketing ourselves and our events and engaging each other. Thank you so much for your time. I think I've spoken too much.
Thank you very much. Actually,
so please keep doing things to engage the young people. They're the most important part of this conversation because they're going to be the ones who are going to take care of us. We've started the work. Mwami Chaza, you started the work. They're going to finish it.
Yeah, did you get that? By the way, we created a hashtag Vamboli. Do you want to tell them about Vamboli? What it means?
Vamboli means get out of bed and go get your dreams. A lot of you don't follow me on Instagram, but if you follow me on Instagram, you'll see me shouting Vamboli, get out of bed and go your dreams for all across the world, wherever I can find Ugandans.
Thank you very much. I'm going to move on to Maureen. I'm going to speak to Maureen. I'm going to ask Maureen actually. A lot of young females feel like our culture is oppressive. They feel like our culture is not good for them. They feel like they're oppressed. What advice do you tell them? And also, how can we encourage more young people involved in our culture so that they can be proud of themselves?
Thank you. I think for me, I'll just kind of answer this question with my own experience. So I came to the UK with my parents in '99, and it was hard because it was very hard fitting in. I looked different, spoke different, and my culture was just very different to what was here in the West. And being honest with you, to be honest, whenever the teacher called my name, I didn't really want to answer. It's like, wasn't proud of my name, wasn't proud of my identity. Kind of wanted to be Caribbean, to be honest, because at the time, those days, it was cool to be from the Caribbean. It's like, that's what you wanted to do. In response to your question about us finding culture not necessarily favoring us as young women, I think there's kind of a background story to it, in the sense that within our culture, and not just us, but even the African culture, as female children, you're kind of looked at as being less than the male children. In our culture, if a man has a son, it's like an honor. It's like really, really, you feel very proud as a man when you have a son. And when you have a daughter, yeah, you love them, but it's like everything you're preparing for is almost for your son. Your son's going to take over your name. Your son's going to take over the home and everything. You kind of just forget about your daughter. And also, I think I was having this conversation with my sisters the other day. Culturally, as young girls, from when we're young, we are taught how to be maternal. We are taught that one day you're going to go and you're going to get married. And we're taught to serve our husbands, to be patient, to be obedient, and, to respect our husbands. All these things we are told, which is a very good thing. And I think, it's a good thing. You should have respect for your other half. You should carry these things on. But I think on the other side, the male children are not exactly taught the same thing, the way that they put the pressure on us female children. I don't think the boys are taught to, you must respect your wife, be patient, you have to serve her, all these things. So this is how you find that culturally a lot of us young girls, we are in relationships or we are in marriages, and we live here in the Western world. We're trying to follow our culture, but at the same time, our culture is oppressing us. It's, kind of promoting us to be in situations where we are in abusive relationships. We are in marriages that we're not happy, because we ultimately want to follow culture, and not all the time that culture will favor us as females. Now, I know some may disagree with what I'm saying, but I speak from experience and what I have seen, within my surrounding. And even if we look at back home, as well, I was watching a documentary, if you have time, you can go and watch it. It's on Dowries in Uganda. There's so many females that are suffering, they are in abusive relationships. Obviously, I'm speaking from my culture. I'm an Acholi, like what I mentioned earlier. There was a documentary where there's women that are, in these marriages, and because the husbands have paid this bride price, ultimately, culturally, if you're going to divorce, they must return the bride price back. Now, these are girls that are coming from, less fortunate families, and most likely all the time the fathers have, or the parents have already spent this money, and they go back to their family, and the family is telling them, well, you've got to go back home, because back to your marriage, to your husband, because we don't have this money to to give them back. And not only that, to the extent where they have to go back, and the parents have even been arrested, because they're not able to return this money, and the females have to actually stay in their marriages. I think growing up here in the Western world has helped us as young women. We're now a lot more educated on mental health. we're educated on what abuse is, what physical abuse is, what psychological abuse is. We are more exposed to things that possibly we wouldn't, have seen if we were not on this side of the world. I know that there's a lot of work going on back even in Uganda right now. I have friends that are mental health advocates and domestic violence advocates back home. I think over here we do value who we are. We value our culture. Especially for me, going back to my story, what I was saying earlier, I wasn't proud of being a Ugandan when I was in secondary school, and it wasn't until I was now in my mid-20s that I now started to reconnect with my Ugandan community. And for me, I felt so much love because I came across people that, spoke the same language as me, people that, I could say the same jokes and we would all laugh together, people that made me feel welcome and at home, people that I could eat my food beside and they wouldn't tell me that it smells any different, or, just that sense of belonging and feeling at home. So for me now, at my age now, I feel like I am so proud of who I am, being a Ugandan, being an Acholi, and just being of African heritage. And to answer your question, it's hard, as females here in the Western world, because we kind of want to fit in as well with how things are in this country as well. And sometimes culture kind of contradicts that, and it just makes it very, very difficult. But I hope I kind of answered your question, but thank you so much.
Thank you very much. Moving on to Ibra. In our African or black community, we feel like everything's about education. You have to study, get a degree, get a degree, get a degree. But then through that, we have so many young people that have so much potential, that are good at football, that are good at basketball, that are good at tennis, that are good at so many, there are so many young people that want to be mechanics, and you don't need to actually go to university to be a mechanic, whereby you could do an entrepreneurship, and then you can get that skill and go start doing what you need to do. So we've seen so many young people also go off to university, but then they drop their skills. So you obviously a footballer, and what advice would you give to the families, to parents, to actually look into this? Because you can study, actually get a degree, but at the same time as also be a footballer, because you never know which one is going to literally make you money, because what we're looking for normally is success, and you can use your skills to gain success. So we waste so much I'm not going to say waste, but a lot of kids do things they're not interested in when they have skills that they're actually interested in, that no one would need to work them out basically to do their skills. So what advice do you give to our parents, and also what message do you send out there to the young people that have skills that are being told, don't do that, when they can actually use that skill to achieve something or do something for themselves?
First and foremost, I think there's a level of ignorance on both sides, the parents and the kids as well. The kids are a bit innocent because they don't know so much, they haven't been exposed to so much of the world. But the parents, the ignorance comes from the culture, upbringing. As Africans, particularly East Africans, we don't have a rich line of successful athletes or, music. There's a lot of successful musicians, but we know what parents think about that. But in terms of, I'm going to speak on an athlete background. Because we don't have as many successful athletes, the parents can't look into that field and push their kids, because there's very few that have been successful. So the message that sends out is, you're not going to succeed in that department, which is wrong. But fortunately, as especially the football world is now expanding, and we're seeing a number of East African footballers, athletes, runners doing so well and at the biggest stages. So with that, of course, it's opened up the parents' sort of awareness that kids can succeed in these other departments. Though I understand where the parents are coming from. If you was to put two on the same platform, success in the education sector and success in sports or entertainment, of course success in the education sector outweighs it because of the track record, because of the diverse opportunities that are in the education sector. But having said that,
the thing you don't want to do, especially to youth, you don't want to limit them because they're so gifted, they're so talented, and have so much energy and so much time at their disposal. Expose them to everything and give them guidance. Just don't limit them. Ultimately, they'll find where they belong. And once a youth finds where they belong, where they're passionate about, they're going to give it everything, and ultimately you'll become successful. The thing that I advise parents not to do is not to push youths to be successful based on how they see success, because success is a very personal thing. Your kids can end up being way more successful than you if you give them the guidance and the freedom to express themselves. But to gain that freedom, I'll give you just a brief background of me. I came to this country when I was 10. I came from Uganda, and I was picked up to go and play for Crystal Palace from the age of 10. Now, my mom had to make a decision. She's a single mom. She had 6 of us living in one house. She had to make a decision. Do I let him go and play sports, or do I push him into the education sector? So we had to negotiate. She said to me, you can do whatever you want as long as you do well in school. Because I was so passionate about football, I was like, it's a done deal. Because I realized, okay, my parent wants me to succeed education-wise, so for me to succeed in what I want, let me meet her conditions and I'll get to do what I want. So with the kids, they have to understand where their parents are coming from. That your parents are not pushing you away from your passion. Your parents want you to be they want you to be so great, but you just don't understand. So if you don't listen to them and try to fulfill both what they want, because with parents, personally from my experience, it's easier to please parents if you're doing well in school. They'll let you get away with a lot of stuff. So, but I think on the parent side, because of our background, there's a limitation in terms of our understanding, and we narrow success based on our background. Where really and truly, me growing up in a football environment, you don't have to just commit to football to be successful. Football gives you the ability to be able to exercise the same skills you built in football to be successful in other fields. We know that footballers' careers are very short careers and they can end at any time. But the skills that you pick up during your football careers, you can transfer those skills and be successful in literally any field that you want. But until the parents understand that and try to give that guidance, it's very difficult to let these kids run away, because footballers and athletes don't have the best image. The way they conduct themselves, of course, that's going to improve with time. But because of the way the sports industry is portrayed, it's given a bad image to these kids. And obviously these kids, a lot of the kids, when I talk to kids, they want to be footballers, mainly for one or two reasons. They want to be rich or they want to be famous. But they don't understand what comes with that. They don't understand the discipline, the commitment, the sacrifice that comes to get to that level. And of course, we're always seeing these top footballers put in front of us, and they sell us the dream that anyone can make it and everyone can make it, which is not really the reality. Only those that are willing to sacrifice the most and be highly disciplined, they get to make it. But what I find really interesting is that the same discipline you need to succeed in football is exactly the same discipline you need to succeed in anything else in life. But the key element is passion. And you don't really want to limit anyone because of your own limitations. And I talk to a lot of parents, and I understand where they're coming from. They want good for their kids, but in the pursuit of that good, they're limiting their kids. And I always encourage parents that give them the freedom, negotiate with your kids, because kids are willing to abide if you give them the freedom to pursue what they want. Because I see kids as they have a healthy level of ignorance. You can sell something to them and they fall for it if they feel like, okay, I get to do what I get to do. So with that, I think as parents, especially in this day and age, because unfortunately, your kids are more influenced by the society than yourself. That's a harsh pill to swallow. But these kids have access to social media. They've got access to a lot of things that you never had coming up. So it's difficult for you to accept that my kid is actually going to be influenced more by the external than the internal, which is yourself. So you have to understand the society that they are in and give them guidance, not based on how you see things, but based on how things are really are. And negotiate with your kids. Negotiate with your kids. Kids naturally are going to be obedient to their parents because they look up to them. But if you limit and put limitation in their life, that's when they're going to find other people that are going to give them that freedom. And a lot of the times, as black kids, we're going to be pushed out to the streets. So what I would really advise parents to be more open-minded and realize there's more than one way of succeeding, and realize You don't really want to limit anyone, because if you limit anyone, at some stage, that's going to come out. And how is it going to come out? So with everything, like Baker said, you can succeed in football or any other department that you want alongside your education. I don't see education as you study and you get a job and that's it. I see education as a lifelong thing. It never stops. And there's never a stage where you feel like, okay, I'm too old to study or I'm too old to enter this. I know professional footballers in Premier League that have got degrees, but no one knows this thing. But I understand the reason why they don't know this is because these things are not marketed. People don't know about these things. These footballers don't really talk about these things. And that's why I blame the footballers on that front, because even the Football Association, they've got a lot of great initiatives for footballers that don't end up being successful, making it to top footballers, or they have injury-ending careers, and there's a way out. There's still opportunities because they understand these boys have been in a system that has drilled them to have skills that they can transfer into other arenas, other areas, and still be successful. So literally, there's no limit. So I just advise the parents, don't limit your kids, seek to understand and seek to give them guidance, not based on what you think is right, based on what's actually right. And that means going out and seeking the right information from the right people, then you can give the correct guidance. Thank you.
Wow, thank you very much. How did they do?
Right.
Yeah, give them another round of applause. I think our community is so blessed. Our community is so blessed. We just don't see it. You know, we have so many. Look at these guys here. By the way, these are all busy people. They all have somewhere they could be right now. You know, they all have somewhere they could be right now. But because we ask them, because they love community, they love helping, empowering young people. Literally, that's why they're here. So please, we need to use these people. You know, because we need to create a cycle in our community where they get to pass on the mantle to us, then we also pass it on to our children. It would be a sad thing. It would be so sad where you find that your children are facing the same challenges like you did as a parent. You know, it is so sad to see that your child is going to face the same racism that you faced as a parent. You know, it's going to be so sad to find that financially your child is suffering just like you did as a parent. When we have people like this, you know, we have so many people that are willing to give your kids skills. You know, young people, we have people that are willing to help you. If you want to be an accountant, there are accountants that are willing to mentor you. If you want to be a footballer, there are footballers that will train you to be a footballer. If you want to be an athlete, whatever you want to do. If you want to be a business person, we have people that are successful in business in our community. So they're willing to offer time. We know these people. You know, we know these people. So why do you want to go university or go into a skill without any information about what you're going yourself into? You know, so please, let's use these people. I'm going to provide the next 5 minutes for the audience. You know, if anyone wants to say something, just raise your hand, and then, yeah, we can wrap it up that way. Because, like I said, no passive observers here, so it would be good if we use the people here. I see a hand up there, yes.
Thank you very much. My name is Martin Usawamugo. I'm a son of Bale Muchafu the late, and I'm the grandson of Mariko Chuarata. And I'm also a grandson of Taji, and I'm also a grandson of Utema, and I'm also a grandson of Nomeya Chasa, and that's how I become to be a Buganda by tribe. They are all buried in the Buganda kingdom. I'm happy to be here. I've been seeing some of the faces on double radio via Zoom. People like Ibra, the neighbor, and Juliet. Nimekushukuru sana mwanangu. Asante kwa kuja. I thank you so much, Becca, for bringing all of us together. Because at first I thought you were bringing only Ugandans together, but I think the whole Africa is getting together right now, which is good. Yeah. So something I'm going to talk about is the culture. I'm going to, for the footsteps of Mr. Chaze, who was talking about the culture. Culture makes us who we are. Just like you've heard me talking about all my great ancestors, I only knew 3 of them. How did I know the 3 of them? I asked my dad when he was still alive, and he told me my grand ancestors, just the 3 of them. But the 2 ones, I knew them after his death, because when he was writing his will, he included, because as in Uganda by tribe, at least you have to name 5 of them. So for me, I knew 3, and my dad added 2 of them, and that's how I came to know 5 of them. So basically, I will use Ibra as an example. Bashir here has been telling me that Ibra came here when he was 10 years, but he speaks fluently Uganda. How did you do that? Because basically, we see so many children here don't speak our mother tongue. I've got my family back home. That's where my kids are. The firstborn is 20. And unfortunately, I've missed the prayers today with them this evening because of this occasion. But I tell them to ask me so many questions about my background so that they get to know about my history. Things we miss telling kids maybe are the very things that are going to make them the people we want them to be in the future. Just because, like, before you know a white man, you know yourself as a black man. Because right now I see, like, we know so much about the English culture, the Western culture, but do we know about ourselves? It's like me knowing more about Ibra when I don't know about myself. It's a shame. So let's allow our kids to ask so many questions about us, about our culture, about our countries, so that they get to know who they are. From there, they will get to know about other people and knowing about other things. My kids speak fluent English because they are in good schools, but whenever I get back home, I told them not to say good morning to me. I prefer someone like a girl coming and kneel down and say wasuzotia tata. It makes sense to me. Because this good morning, I don't know where it came from. I just learned it. I think English is just a business language to me. I speak more than 5 languages. Nabonga Kiswahili sanifu kutoka Zanzibar mimi mwenyewe. You know? I speak so many languages. Swahili is one of them, and I'm fluent. But all of those languages are business languages. I speak them when I need something. Like when I go to Kenya, I use Swahili when I need food, when I need something from somebody in Kenya. But in Uganda, my mother tongue, I don't speak it to get anything. It's part of me. So if you know that you are a Uganda by tribe, you are a Mcholi Kopango, so make sure your kids get to know about yourself. Don't let them know about other things before they know about themselves. And that's my point. And knowing about all this, it involves the culture. We know about our culture. The way we are raised is not the same way we are raising our kids. We visit families here. It's a shame one day I visited someone's family. After knocking the door, the child came and asked me, "What do you want here?" And that's not our culture, to be honest. That's not our culture. In Uganda, we say, "Munyumba temubeera kubo." There is no road along the house. So whoever comes is welcome. Just welcome everyone before you ask them the reason why they have come. And this is what the kids need to learn. I know it's not easy because what you teach them is opposite to what they face outside. But at the end of the day, we grew up in the same situation. Even back home, every home has got different rules and regulations. But when you go out, you have to come back home knowing that the rules and regulations at home, I have to follow them. So that's my gist today. Thank you so much.
Thank you very much. Destiny, tell your children your story. Anyone else? Any other hands? Or should we wrap it up? Sorry? Okay.
Sorry, just a quick one. I've seen a lot of young girls here today, and I just wanted to let you guys know that if there's anybody that wants to go into tech, there's such a high demand right now for females within the technology industry. When I say tech, I mean technology. Like, there's such a high demand for women in tech. So, and I know the perception is when you speak about tech, everybody thinks you have to be literally coding or just to be, you know, making websites and stuff like that. It's such a broad industry. And if anyone is interested and wants to know more information, I'm here and willing to mentor you guys. But yeah, just wanted to put that up.
Thank you very much. See, we're willing to help.
Thank you so much. We're just really out of time, I believe. So I know that Baker has told me that we really need to be finishing. But just a quick one. Be proud of where you come from. Remember, you're a child of Africa. I just wanted to leave it there with you. You're a child not just of Uganda, but you're a child representing the 54 countries of Africa. The other thing is, I want you to be proud of your names. My names are Juliet Namarome Lotomia Mahapila. I rarely sometimes say it, but I'll tell you what, I relate to why my parents gave me those beautiful names. I'll tell you another day, maybe in one of Baker's program, but my name means freshness, it means love, it means virgin land, and other stuff. I want to leave it with you. I know he said he doesn't vote, but I want to challenge every single one of you. Next year we've got elections, and the council is looking for ethnic minorities to serve. I want you, if you're over 18 years old, to go out there in any political place, put your name forward. I don't care which political party you go, because I'm a liberal. That is what is so special about me. So I want you to do that so that you can participate in governance issues, in participatory in what he's talking about, in what he's saying that entrepreneur, you can tell the council we want investment for black people. Thank you, Ugandan community. Make sure you take from the footballer that Ishmael has said that you have a talent. You have what it takes. But let's not forget, you have to take the first decision to be successful. Thank you, Baker. And clap for Baker before I actually finish, because without his presence, he is so committed, as you know, with this Ugandan community and his family as well. We bless you. Thank you.
Thank you very much.
I'll just quickly answer my brother's question about how I'm able to speak fluent Uganda. To be honest with you, my biggest family's in Uganda, and my grandma, my granddad, everyone's in Uganda. So I knew when I came here that the one thing I can't afford to lose is my family ties. So I made sure I stayed in contact. I made sure I spoke Uganda throughout. Didn't care about the accent, none of that nonsense, because my family is more important than the accent. I'm not interested in all that kind of stuff. So I made sure, if there's one thing that I keep with me, is the language, because I knew my identity is very much embedded in my language. And if I knew if I lost that, I've lost myself. So that's the reason why.
One thing that I commend you for is everybody learn their ancestral line. The people that came before you, that came before them, and that came before them, and those that came before them, because they're the people that got you to where you are today. We should all be able to give our ancestral line.
Thank you very much. I think that's about it. I think that's a wrap. By the way, before you leave, please make sure you go see Najib. He's going to be there by the backdrop so that you can give us a minute or 30 seconds of what you thought of today. Please do not leave unless you go. Oh, you wanted to say something? Okay.
I just want to just say thank you for this function. We all loved it, though many people didn't come. So that next time, maybe you can advertise it more earlier so that more people could come. I see a lot have missed. I missed what came up fast because I came late, but I was like, oh, what did I miss? Because what I expected is I got more than that. My kids loved it. Others, they were asking questions about what's going on, and I expect more and more to come.
Thank you very much. Yeah, please, sorry about whatever's gone wrong. We'll definitely, that's why we want feedback. Please, we gave you feedback forms. We'll definitely be doing feedback forms. We'll be definitely looking at that. I want the organizers to come up here so that everyone can see them. Okay.
Hi guys, I'm really sorry. Guys, give a shout out to the National Lottery Fund. They sponsored the event, hence why the food, the drinks, the food you had, they sponsored. But also this goes back as well to the community. As you see, I think the lady Aisha mentioned about it. When we bring someone here, if it's a rapper, young people, they're gonna be here. If organize a rave right now, it's gonna be packed up right now, and you've seen the environment. Good enough. No one is chasing us. We like to bring the kids because the kids, if you don't bring them in this kind of event, they're not gonna learn. I promise you, they know. So that's why I don't care. Bring them kids. They run around. Do you understand? It's alright. They can hurt each other. They can hurt themselves. But at the end of the day, it's better. They're learning and they know. When they grow up, they're gonna be asking, guys. I don't know how I can thank you, but thank you very much. Thank you, the team. You know, they call the team, the team that were organizing. Come on, could you come up? Tom, I'll see you there. Alric is not here, Sarafina is not. Guys, come up and people see you. So that next time when they
Thank you so much. Thank you.
We go Auntie Hadija, who's doing, guys, if you go, decoration.
Thank you.
She's the one who was, who's doing all this, so, yeah.
My number is 077 423 84 052. And African Wonder Woman, text me and then we'll talk, yeah? Thank you. Yeah, send me that photo.
And I didn't have security, so I've locked the front door. If you're going out, you're either going to use this door here, it will take you straight to the car park. And also there's another door I'll be showing you around to go out. But the main door is locked. Yeah?
Please leave us remarks there. Please go by the backdrop. Give us 30 seconds. We've got food. Please don't leave without food. And just give us a minute. Please.
Thank you all for joining. I hope you've enjoyed it. I just love community work, and it's absolutely great to see all of you. Cass McDonald, Jean Coleman, Lucy Laker, Benjamin Pusmat, every single person. Come and say hello to my audience.
Hello,
that is
hi
Ismail.
everyone.
Thank you so much to these beautiful girls. Absolutely wonderful.
Thanks for tuning in today, guys.
Thank you so much. People are watching us everywhere. So I'm absolutely
your
delighted.
support means a lot to everyone because we know we all have to come together and support each other to make a difference in everyone's life. So guys, keep supporting us. Everything that we're doing, it's not for us, it's for everyone. So we appreciate you and keep tuning in.
Thank you so much. And don't forget to text me as well.
Absolutely.
Yes, take a photo with me in a few minutes. I'm finishing as well. So here we go. Thank you. Here we go. That's Ishmael. Yeah. Thank you so much. African Wonder. Yeah. Thank you.
Thank you so much.
I really enjoyed listening to you. So yes, let's keep supporting everyone. Lucy Laker, Dave Ravel, thank you for joining in, every one of you. Mark Switchett, Kurishu, Boogie all the way in Kenya, Phil Dan, Darrell Embley, and everyone watching me. It's a good night for me here tonight. Happy Cultural Day. Happy Black History Month. I finished London Bridge National Executive Conference. I came straight here. As you can see, I usually have a very busy sometimes schedule, but I love it and I love to support our community. This is a Ugandan community. I'm from Kenya. I was one of the speakers here today, just empowering our young people, our youth people, and I love it all. So good night, everyone. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Catherine Gibson, yes, I have seen you. If I've forgotten anyone here tonight, please pardon you. Sorry about the movement here today. I know my reception wasn't very, I gave it to children to help me to take the video, let them learn some skills, and I thought to myself that was absolutely amazing. I'm gonna just go in and show you what this event is all about, because I believe in listening to children, and I want to listen to these children here as she speaks, he speaks here. Yeah.
And moving forward, what do you feel like this has taught you in terms of how you can act moving forward?
I'll fight you. You give away my flag, and it's the
not
only
even my
flag.
sister.
I'm telling you.
It's okay. It's okay. It's okay. It's okay.
Kids are very happy. Yes.
Meet you, Habali.
Asante sana.
I don't want you to disappear like that.
I will give you my number. Let me just finish with this one. Yeah,
She's
please.
desperate for more.
Asante. I will speak to you in a minute. Beautiful interview. This is what we are doing here. This is Warrant Born Rich Cultural Difference. This program was funded by Community Fund, and of course, I just want to appreciate the 75 Derby Radio and every effort that goes in. Asanteni. This is called Leso Okanga. I love it, and I just love my, you can see that, I love my flag over here as well. The African drum, I love it. I love this African drumming, as you can see. That's it, I love it. My battery says it's critically low, so I'm gonna leave you and love you, every single one of you. How do you think this went here tonight? Could you give a quick, we weren't born rich. I really love that.
Thank
yes.
you.
Thank you. How do you think, and tell people your name. How do you think
My
it?
name is Nijo
Mhm.
Samba.
Mhm.
I'm a Uganda.